Where are the mics? There's no mics on that side.
So let's move to the Latvians, and we have this kind of, I think most of you saw it because it's impossible not to see it, as long as it's really such a seducing place inside of the Arsenale. So we have the first pavilion inside of the official venues of the biennial. But I mean, very, very seducing. TCL is the title. And we have here Ernest Cherbulis, yeah. Uldis Jauzems Petersons and Ints Vangelis. So,
No, that
welcome,
was the way.
welcome to this talk. Basically, you are also somehow with this project presenting several ideas from different countries with all the different products that are somehow seducing the visitor. It's also a little irony against the Biennale, to the Biennale. Let's not use the word against, to the Biennale, that is, you know, putting together in this kind of old-fashioned way of, I mean, it's the only exhibition in the world that is still using the nations, because all other big exhibitions all over the world are not using, you know, anymore this kind of 18th century model. So you are, so how, which were the principles that brought you to create this kind of seductive work?
That was very, I didn't actually understand if there was a question, but I mean, yeah, we couldn't contribute much to the choosing the place. We were kind of defined, our condition was very defined. We knew that we will be in the middle of Arsenale. And we also know that all this scenography of the Arsenale, it has some kind of rhythm. It has this kind of curatorial exhibition. There are country pavilions, and somewhere there is Latvia, where when the people get there, they are already kind of, let's say, tired. And so we wanted to, let's say, comfort them somehow.
What an extreme marketing strategy.
Extreme marketing strategy. So that they got to a place which they kind of knew in a way. That's why we tried to work on a store. So you kind of enter a regular store in the middle of Arsenale. So that's how we, about space, if we continue this discussion about the space, how we get there. So we don't have much to add there, except when we, with such a small budget, we kind of also come and construct the pavilion. So we are doing everything, starting from the idea, curatorial aspects, till the kind of implementing the pavilion. And this takes time, and during this time you also kind of become a Venetian in a way, or you become a local, and you also feel how city changes and how the city kind of, you see basically the Biennale people in the beginning, they are running around, and I mean everybody went to the same shops. So I guess how also locals perceive this is kind of also interesting experience to kind of finishing the previous topic.
I would like to add that we are actually occupying quite a small area of Venice, and we could actually say that Arsenale is part of, as well as this place where we are now, we are in front of Arsenal building. So in a way, we could look on it as a, if we leave, imagine for 1 year, everyone leaves the Arsenal building and they need to occupy another space somewhere on the other side of Venice. That could be an experiment that could give answers to, should we change something in the, is this change of venue spaces actually giving any impact? It should be like a big movement, not like small individual movements, but it should be like a bigger movement. But Yes, I would say that the it was not for us the space. It was that we became like a little artisan collective living. Ince moved in with his whole family for 2 2 weeks with the kids and his wife. So maybe we should occupy some abandoned buildings somewhere on the other side of Venice and just fix them a bit and make pavilions there. I don't know. It's just an idea, old maybe.
So about the space, I don't know what to more add. Actually, of course, we want to predict that we will be like the bacon in this darkness in Arsenal, because in some way architecture is very predictable in their scenography, more or less, and that's what actually we can see in there. So of course, it's a place of the comfort, because you even don't think, you just all your feelings, the vision, all senses actually give you the signals that you are like in a safe space, you are in the shop. So that's as a bit a kind of key of our success, I think, in this case. But about the living and being Venetian, I think we have a proven today, after the gap for months not being Venice, went into the bar and they already know what we drink because they know us. So yeah, we are the locals.
So you feel like you are a Venetian. I have to say that when I saw your pavilion, I just thought that you really didn't produce so much CO2 for transportations and other things, because I think it's a kind of pavilion that is made in, I would say, almost in an ecological way. If I'm usually looking, it's a kind of professional distortion, how pavilions are made, the type of material, what they brought, how hard it could have been transportation inside of the city of Venice. Probably you just needed one boat to get all the things there, if I'm not wrong. So I think on that side, it was quite a very smart idea to work it out. And I don't think it was very expensive, or it was.
Maybe morally sometimes, but in in general, yeah, that was idea from the beginning to do the pavilion from the ready-mades, because this Venice period is very short kind of time, just 6 months, and then you need to throw it out or give to German pavilion, or I don't know what to do with all this waste. So we had this idea to borrow the things. So the pavilion consists of two parts. One is these ready-mades, which we borrowed from a real, let's say, supermarket in Riga, which we will give back until the story is back. And then the second part is cardboard, which is very lightweight. I think we probably have the lightweightest pavilion. So yeah, in that sense, we thought about these things.
And it's actually a very, it's a sort of pavilion that you have to discover step by step, I have to say. Because as we were discussing before we started this talk, first of all, you have one aspect, the fact that you have to choose, which is made in a kind of a playful way, so you don't even realize it because you are kind of seduced by the beauty and aesthetic of the products, which basically I think not so many people are actually reading the ideas that are presented on the different products, because they are so colorful, they are beautiful, they are amazing. But then I think the next step, thinking about your gesture and everything, I as I was telling you, I went on the website and there I sincerely started to read all the ideas that were behind each project that was presented. And you are covering an incredible amount of ideas, of projects, of things that could and might change certain things in this collapsing world.
True. Yes, we kind of we celebrated the 10th time in Biennale since Latvia is participating in Biennale. So there are most or all pavilions from these years. So all ideas are there. But since you are saying that it's you can, yeah, but that was our kind of let's say concept how we treated the space. The visitor is really kind of tired at that point, and you can just you can wander around. And when we were there, some people also they sometimes they passed, but next time they come just to dive in. So we wanted to have these different layers. You can have it just like as a installation, or you can dive in if you want, and the next level you can combine the ideas, and the next level you can research the ideas. You can kind of collect different years of the country participation, so you can, I mean, we wanted to have this also some kind of playground or open, let's say, possibility to experiment with it at the same.
I would like to add that it's sort of the way how you usually get to know new things. For example, music. You would probably be at a party or somewhere, or listening to radio in your car or something, and then you hear the song, and then it kind of, oh, I like this music, and then you enter this realm of genres and all that. And I think it's the same with architecture. If I speak from the curatorial perspective, we thought that our visitor we would like to engage with all levels of visitors, from children to non-architects, and how to do it. It's I think from the most basic, you need to use those basic principles to actually at the end no one will be interested in it if it's too difficult to engage with. And that's also what supermarket the comfort, all the comfort is the answer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, supermarket is something that most of the people like to go and spend their time inside. Apart.
But that's also a kind of a side or parallel story of that. And the pandemics was also a good catalyst of that. Suddenly, all the public spaces which we used to go, I don't know, cinemas, theaters, marketplaces, or whatever, were closed. The only doors which were open were these doors of the stores and outside. So, in that way, I mean, the supermarkets or shops, they are some kind of a bit neglected by the architects, but they, and even for us, we kind of use these spaces to get things for or recipes, but we kind of don't pay attention to the spaces where they are. And let's say maybe they're probably the most, let's say by square meter, they're occupying most of the city, but we kind of don't pay attention to these spaces. We don't kind of consider them as architecture. And why so?
Yeah.
I mean,
Have you thought about instead of display this, let's call them work, inside of a pavilion, rather into a real supermarket by mixing it between, you know, fruits, other products. So the usual buyer comes there and finds himself kind of, you know, I don't say shocked, but surprised by finding these unusual products.
Yeah, actually, we're considering and thinking about as we like some kind of the partisan marketing. Actually, like to promote the pavilion if we this products spread somewhere in the shop, and people goes to make this ordinary choice of the pack of the chips, and there's a pack who really looks like the natural one, and but when we grab, will be the surprised. Honestly, need to say that the working on that make changed actually the way how each of us look on the shop, and the way how we look now to the shop is for everyone is a different one, and shops can actually have more the social function in it and become more useful, not just only for the selling the goods and things. Actually, but then by making choice, this is the way how the shop can involve the local society, because when it's on discussing some project in the like the a local place, then who come and say their opinion? Those people who are really interested, because mostly people are busy and they don't want to go somewhere. But the shop is a place where they go, and why didn't offer them make choice there by the choosing, for example, the specific product? If you choose this product, mean you make your vote for the something. This is one idea which comes up. I I think, yeah, the real result of everything come very very lately, because the main theme was the laboratory of future, and actually that's what we did. We built the laboratory, and we have such kind of experiment. How many people make the choices? How many people throw the balls? We get data which the BNL don't have ever. They just have this quantitative data, how many visitors have. But now we can actually have the data, how many of them already interact with the things, how many of them are interested till the end. Because the throwing ball is like you are interact. When you make the choice of products and go to the till, get this receive. So it's mean you are interested till the end because you want it. You want it your choice, take with you, in some way. What they do with them, that's another question. But yeah, then we will see. We have this data, and it will be interesting how we can interpret it. We're not can answer that's we no we was just blamed that we not introduce and don't tell about what about be or pavilion, but we not can give this answer because we don't know what about it be, because it's laboratory we build, and now it's work, and it's kind of different because not everyone, most of pavilions are built, and actually we can say the work on them is a finish because they just show up. But in our case, we build, and then only then the pavilion starts to work.
Yeah. Thank you. Now we come to the Austrian pavilion, which is called Participation, Beteiligung. That's right. Cool. And we have Harald Trapp, and I think some other people also came from the pavilion.
Yes. We have Gerhard Flora back there, we have Philipp Oberthaler, we have Christian Mörtel, and we have Julia Klaus here, because we are 17, so always a lot of us are around. And we have Hermann Czech, who curated together with us the pavilion.
Yeah, so you had this crazy idea that you wanted to kind of crash down the wall that is divided So, welcome to everybody who is coming here to this meeting, talk, discussion, dialogue that we decided together with 3 Baltic countries to call it the Baltic Formula. So basically we are here in the frame of the Architecture Biennale, the 18th edition of the Architecture Biennale, which you all know. It has been curated by Lesley Lokko, and it's called the Laboratory of the Future. And I hope everybody has seen the biennial that has managed to go through the different projects that the curator has chosen. I personally really liked the biennial because I'm dealing a lot with art more than architecture, I have to say, because I'm the head of the School for Curatorial Studies in Venice. And I really like the mixture between architects and artists working together about the emergency and the problematics that are affecting the world. Definitely, everybody can notice that we are really living in some special times where the climate changes, political changes, economical changes are affecting everybody. And somehow I think that events like the biennial should be an occasion to deal with some of these problematics, not just by showing the things, but basically also to do something. With the Art Biennale, I have to say it's a little bit more difficult because usually quite a lot of the projects are more like showing what is happening, documenting what is happening. But with the architecture, I think it can make a difference. Another aspect which I find quite interesting and important to be discussed is the fact that, yes, we have the biennial, we have a curator, the curator is choosing a particular topic, but the pavilions inside of the biennial are definitely playing a very important role. And the feedback that certain countries are giving to the topic that is chosen by the curator of the biennial could be something that can make a change for the future. And we had several meetings with curators of the Baltic countries, and we were basically discussing where we should go and how we should develop this dialogue. Because, you know, I have been living in Venice for several years, and I have been also the curator of the Art Biennial National Pavilion of Slovenia, but usually the Art Biennale. And what we found as well with the curatorial school is that very often, you know, sometimes those exhibitions are just coming into the city as alien, and they are leaving the city without basically leaving anything to the city, in fact. So I think with the Architecture Biennial, it could be with certain projects that have been presented, something that it makes really a difference and it leaves something to the city after the Biennale in itself. So I think with this idea of somehow creating projects that are interacting with the problematics of a city like Venice could be a constructive way to work out also in the next editions and to have proposals for the next editions of the biennial to do something that could be an example of the changes that architecture and art can make with the emergency that we are all facing.